Hello, you my YouTube family. Long time no hear, huh? So, been busy. Let me see. Where do I start? It's been about a year, I think, since I did a video. As I said in a lot of my other videos, I have so much craft stuff that it became very overwhelming, and it got to the point where I no longer wanted to craft. And so, I decided to start at one end of my craft area and go through all of my stuff and see what I wanted to keep, what I wanted to get rid of, and to put it all in the same area. So I had things like stamps and dies and paper and just all the odds and ends that you use for crafting, and I had them so spread out that I wasn't utilizing them like I should. And I also decided that, there comes a time, at least for me, maybe not all crafters, but there comes a time when you have to say enough is enough. It just defeats the purpose to me of continuously buying but never crafting. And not that I have anything against people who do that. I did that for a long time. But I've noticed that there's a lot of videos on YouTube that it's all about the haul. It's not about what they've made, what they're doing with it. Sometimes they'll do a haul, but they'll also do some projects with it, which, but then, and I did that, but then what I found was that then it got put away, and did it ever get taken back out again? Sometimes, not very often though. So I decided that my goal was to try to utilize as much of my products as I can. I have products from pens to paper clips to pins to just everything, jewelry. I mean, just so much stuff that it needed to have its own home where I could see it. And that was one of the main things too, is once it's hidden, you forget about it. I found things I didn't even know I had. So anyway, to this video, I'm going to show you one of the containers that I've had this stuff in my stash. So this is nothing, none of this stuff is new. But I bought this container, I believe I bought these through Michaels, but it could have been Amazon a long time ago. And I had different things stored in them. I actually have two. I am going to purchase myself two more because they've become so important in my organization for me to begin crafting that I am willing to spend the money to do that. So let me turn this around. These are 14 by 14, so you could take out the inside pieces and store, they're actually good for, okay, let me back up. I have a tendency to jump. You could store your paper in them. But what I have done is, I have to turn it this way, sorry. What I have done, there are 4 trays, and this one in particular, this tray, is being utilized for, I apologize, is being utilized for the word dies that I use and cut out my words. I don't know how to explain that. Anyway, before they were just like in a plastic container, and what was happening was the ones that had like little loops and stuff were getting torn. So they weren't getting taken care of very well. So I took some stickers alphabet stickers, and because there's not enough to go all the way through the alphabet as far as container section wise, I did have to double up on some of them. There are certain letters that you don't have a lot of, like there's not very many that begin with the letter J. So how it's organized is alphabetically by the first letter. So if it is, in this case, the word faith, then it would go in with the F's. So I also organized my word dies in the same way. I have a drawer system, small plastic container drawer system that I purchased through Home Depot, and I've used it for years. But this time I actually went and I alphabetized all of my word dies by the first letter. Now, some might say, well, how are you going to know? Well, if I'm looking for a sentiment for a card that's for a birthday, well, I'm going to go look under the H and the B's because it's going to have a happy and a birthday. And so it all depends upon what I'm going to look for in the card. Now, my Christmas ones I have all together because, and my other holiday ones, because those are special needed as needed. The word dies that I have, which have a shadow, I store all together. And what I do is on the back of my dies is, only if I can't read what it says, I write the word or phrase on the back of the die in permanent marker. It helps me to avoid having to fumble through and cut it out or whatever to see what the word is. So, but I decided to store all these together, and what I do is I put the shadow and the die together. I attach a small piece of tape. I use sometimes I use painter's tape. Masking tape is what I use mostly because I have a lot of it that I bought at the dollar store. It's also what I use to hold down my paper when I'm cutting or things like that. So anyway, this is my storage for my words that I cut out, and I'm going to turn it this way just a little bit because I have been die cutting out all of my words that have a shadow. I wanted to fill this up somewhat because I have a goal of, listen to this one, of making 500 cards this year. And so I'm almost to the point where I am about ready to start making cards, and I plan on sharing with you my card process as I make each batch of cards. So those are going to be some upcoming videos. But I also have another storage video to show you that is like this, but it has different things in it, but it also is alphabetized. So here is the H and the B. So I'm going to put one in the B, and the other one is going to go, whoops, the other one is going to go, it's not facing me, into the H. So I don't put the words together just because they match. I make sure that they go into the letter, mainly because I'm going to pretty much know, you know, or I may just want to use the word happy. It may be that, you know, I might want to make a card that just has a happy on it, or put a happy day, or happy something. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have it put together just because the words go together. So anyway, so I have this whole pile. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can turn you a little bit here. Let me see. Oh, let me move this. So I have this huge pile here that I have done that I am going to have to sort and put away. And I like to just lay out my baskets like this, and then I have the alphabet all facing me. Now, if you have bigger dies that, like for instance, this word sympathy, and I also have one that says with sympathy, there are 3 slots in the front that the lid, when it closes, won't smash them down. So there are some that have to have be sorted that way because they don't fit in here. But I found that probably 95% of my word dies will fit in these separate containers all the way through. So I'm going to let you go, and I will be back with more videos. I hope you guys are all doing wonderful. I've got a lot of things to tell you, but they'll be in some upcoming videos, some of them not so good. But I'm doing well, and I'm excited to finally get into doing a lot of crafting. So have a blessed day.